You're listening to Good Morning Gwinnett, a division of ABK Media Group, hosted by Audrey Bell Kearney, sharing stories about people and places around beautiful Gwinnett County every day at 9 a.m. Southern living at its best.
Welcome to another edition of Good Morning Gwinnett. I'm your host, Audrey Bell Kearney. Got a great guest with me today. As usual, this week has been very trying, having more technical difficulties. I know I love technology, but sometimes it pisses me off. But anyway, I don't want to complain anymore because I got a great guest with me this morning. His name is Mr. Sullivan, and he is a tattoo master, and he is going to be talking to us about the tattoo industry and how he got involved. So without further ado, thank you so much, Corey, for joining me this morning, and welcome to the show.
Good morning, Audrey. Thank you for having me.
Very glad to be here with you today. So listen, I got to tell you a quick story. I don't know if you heard me before, but I have one tattoo, just one. And I got it on my 40th birthday. I was like, I'm going to get me a tattoo because I'm turning 40. I'm a big girl now. I could take it. And I go to the tattoo parlor. And when I get there, the person that they assigned to me, the artist that they assigned to me, had 2 fingers. And I was like,
oh, wow.
Oh my God, is this the guy going to do my tattoo? And they was like, hey, I forgot his name, but he was so nice and he did such a great job. Now I got to tell you, Corey, it hurt like hell. I ain't going to even lie. I was in pain, but he did a great job. So I have one tattoo and I want to get more, but I'm a little afraid. So listen, tell me, how did you get into this industry? Because this is a very intriguing industry. They got shows all over television now. Tell me how you got into this industry.
Yeah, so the industry is kind of at a crazy point right now. So the way that I got involved is kind of an interesting story. I really had no intentions of or any forethought of ever getting into it, but I had a lot of tattoos. I started getting tattooed really early, too early, when I was 16. And down the road, I went to college to wrestle. I wrestled at Newberry College for a long time. And while I was there, wrestlers aren't known for wearing the most clothing. Mm-hmm. And so people could see my tattoos all the time and would ask questions. And it became, hey, will you go get tattooed with me? Hey, will you help me pick out a tattoo? Hey, will you help me design a tattoo? And I was like, man, I should just tattoo. How hard can it be? And it turns out it's very hard.
Wow.
And but that's one of the things that made me fall in love with it. And so I started getting involved with some guys around the gym doing it and things like that. And I was like, man, I'm this is awesome, but if I'm going to do this, I really need to do it the right way. And went to a local shop to start an apprenticeship and began working very, very soon thereafter. And fast forward, here we are.
So now, because, that was one of my questions I was going to ask you. If you're not an artist, how do you go about becoming a tattoo artist if you're not an artist? Like, if you can't draw a straight line, can you do that? Can you become an artist without being an artist?
So a ton of questions, that I always get from clients, especially, in our first session together, are often the same. And a lot of it is, oh man, did you go to school for art? Or have you been doing art a long time? Things like that. And the answers to all those questions are no. Wow. So I was always artistic, but I never did art. I've never had classes or anything like that. It's one of those things where, I had been tattooed by people who made it look easy. Mm-hmm. And like a lot of people assume, oh, it's tracing or it's, it's a simple process. And when I got into it, I realized very quickly, like, wow, that's not the case. And I should really know how to draw to actually do this. And so I began putting a lot of time into teaching myself how to do that. Mm-hmm. I would look at people I looked up to and try to emulate their work and study drawings and go from there. So is it possible? It's definitely possible. It's just, it's like anything else. What you put into it determines what you get out of it.
Right. Now, how long have you been running your business?
So we opened in September of 2014. So we will be at 5 years this year.
Oh, cool. So now I know that you run the business with your wife, Courtney, who you said in college, that was your first love. Well, that was where you met your first love and your second love, tattooing, and your wife. So how has that been running a business with your spouse? Because I know sometimes running a business with family members can be a little rough.
Yeah, it can be. To be totally honest, I could not do it without her. I'm pretty much fully dependent. She does all the day-to-day management. She manages and juggles my entire schedule for me and my travel schedule for me. And I'm fortunate enough to essentially wake up and she's like, here's what you got today. This is what you're doing tomorrow. This is where we're traveling next week. And don't mess it up.
So do you travel?
It's been great. Yeah, we met. We do. So we travel all over the country and all over the world tattooing. We typically have, 5 to 6 dates that are in various states across the country a year. And then we do at least one international date a year also.
Oh, that's cool. Like I didn't, when I'm thinking about tattooing, I'm thinking that you're at your shop and that's what you do every day, but you travel. Now, are these like conferences that you're going to, or is it some kind of special event, or you just, pop up at somebody's shop because you're a celebrity or something? How does that work?
No, so it's a little bit of both. I have friends that I enjoy working with or guys that I look up to that I want to, watch tattoo and learn from, and things like that. So we may travel to their shops and spend a couple days working there. And, that allows us to bounce ideas off of each other and see what other people are doing. And then the other events we travel to are, tattoo conventions. And we go there to enter pieces in competition, to see people from all over the country and kind of network and things like that, and expand our clientele base. I'm fortunate enough to get to tattoo clients from all over the world. When I travel out of the country, I get to tattoo people, and that makes clients where they fly into the country and get tattooed. And I have clients that travel from other states to get tattooed at our shop. So it's super humbling and awesome. And it's traveling is one of the things where it's really an excuse to experience different cultures and things like that, and kind of share a common love of tattooing.
That's so nice you said that. You say experience different cultures, because I think that's so cool. I feel like that about music, and I feel like that about podcasting. Like I get to talk to all kinds of people from all walks of life, and they have great stories. And I think that's what makes the world a better place, when you can experience like where somebody has come from and their lifestyle and their culture, and it kind of opens your eyes to a lot of things. I know back in the day, when I think way back, when I think of tattoos way back in the day, I think of bikers and, really like bar types and things like that. And that's changed now. Tattoos are sexy and you see like the celebrity. Right. My daughter has 17. She has 17 tattoos. She has one on her foot. She said it killed her. She has a big one on her thigh.
That's one of those things where, that's one of those things that wouldn't happen if people didn't venture out to experience different cultures, right? Mm-hmm. It's really easy to get trapped in the day-to-day grind of things and kind of stay in your comfort zone and stay in your box. And if that were true, then, it would still only be bikers and sailors getting tattooed, mm-hmm. Which unfortunately is a lot of the mindset that we've had to overcome as an industry over the past few years, because that's the initial paradigm that everyone thinks of, right? Mm-hmm. But in getting to venture out and intermingle, the majority of my clients are really high-level professionals nowadays. And the same with my artists. My artists are all awesome. They're all married and have kids and family lives and, are super wonderful, really educated people. And that comes from people in this art form venturing out to different cultures and sharing this with other people.
I like what you just said. You said it's an art form. And you're absolutely right, because I've seen some amazing tattoos. Like my daughter has an Egyptian princess on her thigh, and it's huge. And I said, oh my God, how long did that take? And she told me some amount of hours, but it's beautiful though. It's beautiful. And it is an art form. And I think that's so cool. Now, when it comes to, I know you said Courtney runs the day-to-day operations. How do you manage? How do you decide what talents you bring onto your team, to your company? Because that's another thing too. Like I've seen one show, and I'm sure you probably seen it, maybe not, but I've seen like maybe 2 episodes, and it's a hot mess. Black Ink, and it's always drama and maybe it's for TV. I don't know, but I have watched episodes, and it's just drama all the time. Do you face things like that in your practice, in your business? And if you do, how do you manage all that kind of stuff?
So there's a couple of things to address with what you just asked, right? So first is, how do we pick who we bring in? Mm-hmm. And really that goes back to, why did we even open a shop to begin with, right? Because once you open a shop, you take on a lot more stresses than if you were just an artist. But the reason we did it is, I had visited several places and worked at several places, and I just wasn't happy with how people were getting treated. Mm-hmm. It's an art form, and unfortunately the old way of thinking with that comes a lot of pretentiousness and clients not getting talked to and treated the way that they should be. They're not getting the tattoos that they deserved. A lot of it was dictated by money, whether or not you wanted to bother tattooing something. And I didn't think that's the way it should be done. I thought it should be a much more mutually conducive road between the artist and the client. And so we wanted to establish a place that reflected that. Mm-hmm. Now with television shows, they're both good and bad for the industry. So they're good because it gets the exposure out to more people. People start thinking, wow, maybe tattoos aren't that big of a deal. Maybe people who perform them aren't that crazy. The flip side is that drama sells. Mm-hmm. And a lot of these shows aren't actual reflections of what a true tattoo experience is. Mm-hmm. They highlight a lot of the issues because that's what keeps people coming back week to week. Just to see, who's mad this week, who's going to blow up. It's the same as any sitcom or drama. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And the truth of a good shop experience is there should be as little of that around as possible. Mm-hmm. So when we bring people in, we're super selective about who we pick, because we're not just looking at your technical capabilities, right? Mm-hmm. Your technical capabilities are very important, but what we look at more so is your attitude and your personality. And hey, are you the kind of person that wants to come in and you're Mr. Rockstar and you cause lots of issues, lots of drama? Or are you the person that wants to come in, that wants to work around a bunch of really talented artists that are all going to push each other to get better and really give focus to the art form and focus to the client that they deserve? Wow. So we, through design, a lot of our artists have very stable home lives. We're not out partying till all hours of the morning. We spend a lot of time with each other and a lot of time at home with our families. And because of that, everybody shows up to work with a great attitude and a great personality. And we have a really, really good shop vibe because of that.
Man, that is so cool. I got a chance to look at your website and see some of the pictures. Look like you have a pool table there. Do you have a pool table in the salon? In the salon? I don't want to call it salon, but
we do. Yeah, our lobby has a pool table, the infamous pool table.
And, I think that's so important. You want to, what you said is, so dead spot on. You want to be able to create an experience for your clients, so that way they'll go back and say, man, not only did I get a great tattoo, but the people were nice and the atmosphere was nice. I go to, I have braces. I'm a grown woman with braces, and my orthodontist, when I go there, it's an experience every time. And I've been talking about them for the last year because it's just a great place to go visit. He's nice. His staff is nice. They put on contests. They got play area for the kids to play video games. It's just a nice experience. And so when the parents just want to sit and read, the kids can go next. It's almost like a little next door. It's another little room where the kids can go and just kind of hang out and play video games. So I totally get when you say it's about an experience. Before I moved back to Georgia, they were popping up a lot of laundromats in New Jersey. I'm from Jersey. I was born here in Georgia, but I was raised in Jersey. And they were popping up laundromats like grocery stores. And I'm like, what in the world? But when you saw them, you didn't even know it was a laundromat because it just looked so amazing. And they had televisions and game machines. It was like I just want to hang out at the laundromat so I can have some fun. But it was a whole experience they were trying to create around something like a laundromat. So you're just spot on when it comes to that. Now, I know you said that you have gotten awards. Tell me about some of the awards that you and your team have received.
Okay, yeah. So we've won Tattoo Studio of the Year. I've won Tattoo Artist of the Year. For the past 3 years now, we've been in Best of Gwinnett. award for the county. And then we also have artists who have received, tattoo awards at conventions and things like that, where we enter pieces to compete. So when you do that, some of them are overall categories. Some of them might be, best color tattoo of the day. Some of them might be best small black and gray tattoo or best large black and gray tattoo. So our tattoos have won accolades, our artists have won accolades, and then the studio has won accolades. And I think all of that combined is just a reflection of the crew that we've assembled, because again, everybody we have here is really awesome.
That is so cool. Congratulations to you and your team for doing such a great job. Now, I know when I went to your site, I saw that you guys do piercings. You also look like you have an apparel line. How did you manage to venture from tattoo to piercing? And then how did you kind of jump over to apparel? Because I know it's kind of in the same industry, but it's like 3 different businesses. And how do you manage them all?
Sure. So, we wanted to include piercing because we think it's an essential part of body modification too. We think that it caters to a lot of the same family members that we would tattoo. And there are some states, a previous state that I worked in doesn't allow piercing and tattooing to be in the same establishment due to tax reasons, which is very unfortunate. So when we had the opportunity to bring that here, we already knew we really wanted to do that. And again, it goes back to the same reason we opened tattooing. We've seen things at various places be done improperly, with very little regard for the client or the client's safety. And we wanted to make sure that people who were interested in that had a safe and comfortable place they could go to. So my wife, Courtney, is actually our head piercer. She's been piercing for as long as I've been tattooing. And, she brought that here and did a wonderful program. And then we've since brought in another piercer, Amber, who is equally awesome. And they do, really high quality jewelry, really high standards of cleanliness, and they're very, very educated in what they do. So that automatically brings a level of certainty and comfort to the clients. And as far as the clothing line goes, it's weird to hear it called a brand, because when we started it, we really didn't think of it that way. Mm-hmm. We just wanted people to have something that A, reflected us and where they got their work done, but B, kind of reflected like, I'm a part of this culture. I want to show that off. I'm proud to have my work done. And even if it's something you can't see on me visibly, maybe it's on my back or my stomach, I'm a part of that lifestyle. And so it kind of blew up. And, every time we put a shirt out, they go really quickly, and people come back asking for, hey, can we get 2 more designs? And can you do stickers? And can you do this? And it kind of took off. And now, we've got 10 designs and hats and stickers and shirts and hoodies and all kinds of things. So
now, with your apparel line, do you do limited editions, or is it just an ongoing kind of thing?
So we like to do limited runs of everything that we put out. Mm-hmm. And we do that because it kind of works as like a timestamp for us. So when we see somebody that has the sticker, see somebody that has a certain shirt, we know when they must have been a customer or a client, or when they must have been around the studio. So everything we put out, we do as a limited run. And then once it's gone, it's gone. And once it's gone, we replace it with a new design.
Oh, that's cool. That's really cool. So you either get it while it's hot or get it or not. Okay, that's cool. I like that. And that's cool that you can kind of gauge the fact that, okay, well, around spring 2019, we put this out so we know who came. That's nice. I like that. Very, very smart.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's cool. So now, when you think about where you are right now, and you think about your industry, you think about your family and your people that you work with, do you see yourself doing this for the rest of your life, or do you have other plans and aspirations to do some other things?
I hope so. We have our foot in a lot of different places. There are a lot of things, especially business-wise, that we're working to venture out in, or that we're currently involved in. Tattooing is definitely my most passionate love. So I think regardless of what we do that is outside of that, or that is, different variations of that, we'll hopefully always be involved in this,
Cool. So now for people, somebody that's thinking about, you know what, I want to be a tattoo artist. I want to get into this business. Let's start with the tattoo artist first. So are they considered independent business owners, or are they considered employees of your company?
Nope. So the way that we're structured, they're all contractors, which is very important to us, and I think is very important to the traditionalism of tattooing. Because, an employee would be somebody that we would come in and say, hey, you have to tattoo this way, and you have to tattoo just like this to these standards. And really in tattooing, that's something that sort of corporate mentality is kind of takes away from the art form, right? Mm-hmm. So somebody that's looking to get into it is essentially, you come in and you're part of a team, right? Mm-hmm. So they're their own artists, they're their own business. But we all work together collectively to kind of push each other and represent a hub of Norsk Studios where it's like, hey, they have a collective of artists that get along great, that know what they're doing, and each have their own unique style and way of doing things, which is important to us. Mm-hmm. And, there are definitely correct ways to get into the business and incorrect ways to get into the business. Unfortunately, the way that I did things is not the way that I recommend to people who are getting involved in things nowadays. My training wasn't what it should have been. My apprenticeship didn't really happen. Essentially, I learned on my own, had to be self-taught, did things in a way that's, not advised because it holds you back in the long run. Mm-hmm. So anyone who is interested in getting into tattooing, I preach the same thing to them. And I do it because I've experienced the wrong way to do it, and I know what a hindrance that could be. So the correct way is you should fully immerse yourself in art, practice your art, work on your drawings, and put together a complete portfolio. And, at the same time you're doing this, you should be spending time in a tattoo studio that has artists you look up to, and spending time building a personal relationship with those artists. And once you feel you're ready and you feel comfortable with those artists, you should approach them about obtaining an apprenticeship, show them your portfolio, let them know you're here to work and here to learn and here to be serious, and go from there and get trained properly.
Do you get a lot of people who approach you and say, hey, Corey, I want to do this. Can you help me? And if you do, how do you handle those people? Because I know you guys are very busy over there.
So it's funny that you mentioned that. We never post that we're hiring, just because a lot of people come out. But recently we've grown so much that we're looking to bring on several different people all at once. So we decided, hey, let's post a hiring ad. How crazy can it get? And in the first 24 hours, we had almost 60 applications. And in the first week, we had over 100 applications.
Wow.
So it was madness for the week. But people definitely approach pretty regularly, and we make it a point, even though we had so many applications, we made it a point to review each one individually, to contact each person individually, because we think that's what this art form and this business deserves. Mm-hmm. And we try to give feedback where we think people would be receptive, even if it's not somebody we're looking to bring in. We might say, hey, you're not the right fit for us, but this is what we liked, this is what we didn't like, or this is what we weren't looking for, and this is how you should proceed in the future, just on our opinions. And we do that because you never know. We like to feel like we're a pretty good judge of potential, but I also would never discourage anybody. And I feel like it's important to give positive feedback to people who are sincerely looking to get into the industry. And a lot of times it's just a lack of education of, they haven't had resources, they haven't spent enough time in the studio, so they don't really know how they should approach it. And so we like to take the time to give that feedback and kind of give them a push in the direction I wish I had been pushed in.
I got to tell you, you sound like a really, really great guy. Like, really. Like, just sitting here listening to you, I'm smiling, because there's never, ever in my life have I gone to a job and someone didn't hire me and they told me why, ever. And the fact that you care about the artists that don't even work with you but artists who want to work with you, and you took the time out to, you take the time out to tell them what's missing and what they should fix so that moving forward they can be successful in this industry. Man, that says a lot about who you are, and that is great. And so I got a quick question for you. How did you get the name
Sure.
Narsk? Does it stand for something, Narsk?
So Norsk actually means Norwegian.
Okay.
My family is of Norwegian heritage. We've been over here for 2 generations now. And so for me, it's, we have a very tight-knit family, and we're very close to those roots. And it was just my way of paying homage to that and, kind of showing appreciation for the struggle that they went through to get here that has now led to me being able to open a successful business and give back to the community. So I like to do it with them in mind.
That's cool. The craziest tattoo you've ever done or seen?
Man, I don't know that would be show appropriate.
It's a family show. It's a family show.
If you can imagine it, I have probably seen it.
Okay.
Parts of the body that no one should get tattooed I've seen tattooed, and as far as my clients go, I have the fortune of having really amazing clients in the area. So a lot of what I do are just really large scale pieces and people from serious collectors. But I have done stuff that's kind of, off the wall and stuff that's like a really awesome image. Like one of my most liked pictures in my portfolio is a color portrait that I did it's a leopard face surrounded by some flowers, and everybody loves that photo. And what people don't know about that photo is that it's actually placed on the butt cheek of a very prominent businesswoman in the community. So it's unique placement for sure.
Wow. I know you sent me a picture of someone who had Lincoln on their arm. That wasn't your arm, was it? That had Lincoln on their arm? That was a really good picture.
Thank you. No, that's not my arm. That's an awesome client of mine. And I really love the imagery of Lincoln, and he's got some great photos and great drawings and stuff of him. And we actually have some pictures in the shop. And a client came in of mine that's like, hey, I really want a Lincoln portrait. And I was super excited to be able to do that. So.
Yeah, that was great. I was like, man, look at the detail in that. It was like looking at him. That was really cool. So listen, I want to thank you so much for I'm going to have to stop by the shop one day when I get up the nerve to get another tattoo. My husband wants me to get his name. Now my name is on his arm, and he got that before we got married, which is kind of crazy. And he was like, you got to get my name. And I was like, nah, I'm not doing that, but maybe I will, because we've been together a long time. I don't think we're going anywhere at this point. But thank you so much for being my guest this morning. Please tell people how to reach out to you guys, because it sounds like you're doing some amazing work over there, not just for your clients, but also for the up-and-comers and your team as well. How can people reach out to you?
Yeah, so we make it super easy. We're on Facebook. It's just facebook.com/North Studios. We're on Instagram, which is instagram.com/North Studios. And then we have an awesome website, which is just norskstudios.com. So it's NORSK studios.com. We have portfolios and appointment forms and easy ways to reach out. And I'd love to take the opportunity on the way out here just to let everyone know that we greatly appreciate the awesome community that we're surrounded by. And so we try really hard to give back to them. And so every purchase, every apparel purchase here, every tattoo, portions of that money go back into programs that we do throughout the year to give back. We do stuff with the Boys and Girls Club, stuff with the Humane Society, stuff with a teen shelter, and things like that. And so we just like to make people confident in their decision to come to us, that they're also giving back to the community that they live in.
That is so cool. I'm working on a project now. It's called Project Smile, because I have braces, and I know what it means when your teeth is jacked up and you want to smile and you can't. So a part of the proceeds from what I do over here at Good Morning Gwinnett goes to Project Smile, so I can be able to send people to the dentist to get their smile fixed. So I understand how important that stuff is.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And I do a shout out on the show to nonprofits every morning. It's called People Helping People. And just because I want to give back and I want to make people aware of what's going on in our community, because they do some hard work, and so the fact that we're supporting them in any way we can is just a plus. And to share, what they're doing with others, so they can go out and support also is my way of giving back too. But I love Project Smile because, I'm grown and I got braces, and it wasn't an easy decision, but it was like either I get these braces or I walk around and I'm afraid to smile because I'm wondering what people, what they're saying. Now, they couldn't have been saying anything. It could have been a story I was telling myself, but, I have them.
Right.
So I smile now with my braces, and they come off this year, but I want other people to be able to smile too. So Project Smile is my baby. So anyway, thank you.
That's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we love, we love to support other groups that do the same thing. And anytime you want to collaborate, definitely reach out to us. We'd be more than happy to work on something like that with you.
Okay, good. I'm going to come in and visit you guys. So tell Courtney I'm going to come by and see her. And I'm not going to get a piercing, but I may get a tattoo. They'd be the husband's name.
Awesome. Yeah, come by anytime.
All right. Well, thank you so much for taking the time. I know you're busy, and I really appreciate the fact that you, took the time to be on my show, and I will be by to visit you guys soon.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having us.
You're welcome. Hey, listen, you have been listening to another episode of Good Morning Gwinnett. I'm your host, Audrey Bell Kearney. Had a great guest on today, Mr. Corey Sullivan, here at North Studios in Breathitt, Georgia. Make sure to go out and check them out. Not only do they provide you with a great service and a great experience, but they also give back to the community, which is near and dear to my heart as well. I'll be back again on Monday, 9:00 a.m. Check us out. Until next time, make it a great day.
You've been listening to Good Morning Gwinnett. Make sure to tune in daily at 9 a.m. Eastern Time to find out what's happening around Gwinnett. If you missed an episode, go to www.goodmorninggwinnett.com to catch up. If you like this episode, go ahead and subscribe to the show now and share it with your friends.